Money Monday is starting soon. We are starting soon. Money Monday is starting soon. Starting soon. Money Monday starting soon. We are starting pretty soon. I am just waiting for things to show up so I can share it to my wall. Monday is starting soon. Monday is starting soon. What questions do you have? Monday is starting soon. 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 Monday. Here we go. Monday is starting soon. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Again, my name is Henry. I am your friend in finance. I'm so excited to be here with you again on another episode of Money Monday. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask it in the comments. Because I'm here to help you. I'm pretty excited for. I'm going to erase this since it's not only starting soon, it is starting right now. I'm pretty excited for this episode because had a lot of people. I was talking. I talk to people. People talk to me about finances and things. And there's kind of people have this conception like I don't have enough. I don't have enough money to do anything with money right now. I get it, and I've been there. I was an actor. I was a performer, so I know what it's like to not feel like you can do anything. So I'm going to share with you some of the three things you can do right now that I wish that somebody had told me. And actually, somebody did tell me to do these things when I first started out. This is like 3-4 years ago, and it's what helped me get on the track to being financially comfortable now. This is advice that I got. This really helped me out. This might be able to help you out. This might be able to help a friend of yours out. So, this is advice for everybody. Whether you got nothing in your pocket or whether you got $1 million in the bank, this is going to be great advice for anybody who feels like finances are just kind of out of their grasp right now. So feel free to hit the share button, give us a like. We're here we really believe in financial education for everybody, so we want to make sure that we're getting this knowledge out there. Before I do get started, just a couple quick house details. I don't remember the phrase. Housework details. Whatever the phrase is. Keep you up to date on a couple things. We got another free webinar coming up at the end of the month. Thank you to everybody who showed up for our webinar last week. Total success. If you're a client, you're going to have access to it soon through our Knowledge Center. A lot of really good information on basically what is the end games. You've been working your entire life working to save money. Now what? How does that money now translate into something that keeps you afloat when you're in retirement? It's fantastic information, whether you're just about to get into retirement and doing that transition, or whether you're just starting out and you want to know what is all this for? What's the purpose of getting all this money? It helps add a lot of clarity. So thank you to everybody who showed up. At the end of May, on May 27th at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have another free webinar. This is for everybody, and it's going to be called Marriage and Money. I'm so excited for this topic because there's always basically when you're married, when you're in a relationship, it's like a partnership, right? And so there can be some tension because you have two different perspectives. How do you navigate that? So many people, finances is still like the number one or number two reason for divorce and in relationships, or relationships falling apart. But the truth is that if you approach the conversation the right way, it's not only not stressful, but it's actually really empowering for the relationship, because it's so long as it's approached the right way. And Bob, the founder of Plan and Act, he's got, as a previous minister, he's had this experience coaching couples through this, as well as the life coaching training that he got. So I'm super excited for this webinar. I hope you all come join us. I did create an event on our Facebook page, so make sure you sign up through there. I'll also be posting some Facebook invites later this month, and then probably later this week. So be sure to join us for that. Thank you so much. All right, now let's get into it. What are 3 things you can do right now, no matter where you are in life? What are 3 things you can do right now? Again, like I said, so many people, it feels so hopeless and so helpless. There's like nothing you can do, and it feels so frustrating. But the truth is, if you can just do something, and I'm going to give you these 3 things to do, that can help make everything else that can help start that forward progress, that momentum, so that things start becoming a little bit more clear, so that way you can start making moves, and you can start realizing what are the moves that you do need to make. Like I said, I've been there. I know how debilitating it can feel to be just like, all right, well, my income isn't where it needs to be to meet my expenses. I guess I just am not going to look at my bank account for another few months. It's just so disempowering. But these 3 things are going to help you become a little bit more empowered with your money, so that way you can start making some of the right decisions, and you can start taking control of your financial life, and you're not going to have this secret that you hide from yourself that's going to be weighing you down. If at any point you have any questions about anything I'm saying, drop a comment. I can see it right over there, and I'll answer it as soon as possible. Although my eyesight isn't the best, so I might have to step outside of the screen so I can actually read what you're saying. But I promise I'll get to it right away. Now, the first thing to do is, and I should also say that these 3 steps I'm going to give you basically the Cliff Notes version of some of the things that we do with our clients. These are very important steps, things to do. I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version. Once with clients, it's easier to tailor things more specifically to what people's needs are. Everybody learns a little bit differently, so these are kind of the broad overall ideas behind the different exercises we go through with clients. But the first thing you want to do, that's a 1. I know it looks like a D, but that's a 1. The first thing you want to do is you want to identify your goals. Now, that sounds super simplistic, and I know people out there, they shake their head and they go, "Why do I have to do that?" Like, it's just a goal. People actually usually go, "Yeah, the goal is to have more money." And that's kind of where and you see how that ends up creating that spiral. It's like it's a self-defining word. It doesn't, your brain isn't able to logically make sense of it enough to be able to actually to tackle the real issue. If the goal is, I need to make more money, well, okay, but then why? That's what we're really getting at. We really want to dig a little bit deeper to find out, what is the purpose of money? What is it that I actually want the money for? I want the 50% return. And it's like, okay, why do you want the 50% return? The truth is that, and because the more specifically we get with the goal, the easier our brain can latch onto it and aim for that goal. Give you a little kind of from Henry World, how Molly and I use that. This is 3 or 4 years ago when I started reading all these books, and one of the things we actually did when we were starting to get our finances together was we actually wrote down we identified what we wanted. We wrote down on our mirror. Oh wait, we actually wrote down in dry erase, in the the mirror was big, so I'm just gonna write it here. We actually wrote down goal, buy a house. And let me tell you, when we wrote that goal down, we were nowhere near buying a house, but we knew that is what we wanted, right? We knew we wanted to buy a house, and that kept us motivated every day. We went into the bathroom and we saw it there. Buy a house. That was our goal. We also wanted other things when we got really specific. We wanted to go on a honeymoon in Europe. We wanted other very specific things. We have a very long-term goal as well about starting a potential funding of film schools. Molly's a great teacher, so she wants to start a film school. Things like that. We have very specific goals that we want, and we have a very clear idea of what it's going to look like when we succeed. That helps our brains keep motivated, and that also helps us identify, like, okay, is this, whenever you have a choice, is this choice going to help me get closer to that goal or further away from that goal? So that helps with decision making, so choices become easier, takes a lot of stress out. Just Bob says, clarity equals power. A good goal is going to end up helping you have that clarity so you can end up having more of that power over your circumstances. We wanted to buy a house. Honestly, we wanted to go, the first goal we had was to go on a honeymoon. But then COVID happened and we had to cancel our honeymoon. But then again, we had this goal written on our bathroom wall, in our bathroom mirror. So we just looked at it and we were like, okay, that means we can hit our other goal that we thought was so far away. We just rolled all those finances that we were going to spend on a honeymoon in Europe, and we bought the house. Now we have specific goals that we have for the house, and one of the big goals that we're working towards next is still going on that trip in the future. But goal setting, this is the kind of thing where sometimes with couples it can get into a little bit of a heavy conversation, because what happens if you have different goals? Come to that webinar, find out how to have this conversation, because these kinds of conversations are what really help you get closer together. So goal setting, super important. Not only that, one of the best things about that, it seems so easy, writing down your goals. At the end of it, once you have your goals written down, you have something tangible. You have done something. And in the face of, and like I said, I've been there in the face of, I got no money in my pockets. What can I do? In the face of that, having something tangible that you can hold on to and you go, I did this. This is it. Tack it up on the fridge, tack it up on the wall somewhere. You have something, you have done something. You are not being completely trampled on by the world. You have power. You've done that. And that goes for whether you have no money in your pockets, or even if you have a lot of money and you're suddenly, this happens to a lot of people too. They suddenly get a lot of income, they don't know what to do with it. And I think Molly commented something. People get a lot of income, they don't know what to do with it. Goals helps with that. Being specific with your goals so you can turn to them and go, okay, this is going to help me make a decision what I'm going to do with my money next. Be right back. I think I see a comment. I think it's Molly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. Let me tell you. Yeah, Molly just said that she didn't even believe the goals at first, but seeing them every day is so helpful. Yes. Let me tell you. Yes. Oh God, because that was one of the things that we. When we first started out, and I remember us having this conversation. Molly was like, "This seems so abstract. It doesn't even seem real." And I'll be honest, to me, it seemed really abstract too. Because, okay, so we wrote down buy a house. What does that even mean? So it helps, and honestly, having somebody else, I think, helped both of us because we could talk about it. And that's one of the things the financial advisor, financial planner like Plan and Act can help with. Talking through the goals, the more you imagine it, the more real it becomes to your brain. But it's there's like a couple different exercises we do with clients because of that. But yeah, goal setting. Step number 1. Step number 2. This is there's a bunch of different ways to do this, but basically it all ends up coming down to track. Oh, that one. Track expenses. I just wrote a lowercase c when everything else was uppercase. Track expenses. This one is a little bit less. This one's not as much fun for a lot of people because, again, finances, especially if you haven't tackled them in a long time, can feel very. There's a lot of emotion that ends up being tacked onto it as well. But this becomes super important because if you don't know how much you're spending, then you don't know how much you're going to need to make in order to maintain your current lifestyle. Give me 1 second. I'm actually going to just write down the next one because these are kind of tied together. Prioritize. So what you need to do, one of the best things to do is track your expenses. I'll tell you what I did for, I gave myself 2 weeks. I just said 2 weeks. I carried around a notebook, and anytime I spent any money, I just wrote it down in the notebook. Anytime I spent any money, I hit the 2 week mark and I said, okay, I'm going to keep it going for a month just so I can see over the course of the entire month, how much money am I spending? Where am I spending money? Let me tell you, there's a lot of surprises because there's a lot of those, those nickel and dime kind of situations where you think, oh, the company at the company cafeteria, they're supposed to be selling it to us at cost. But then when you look back at the end of the month, you find out you've spent $300 at, $5 at a time just eating at the company cafeteria, that kind of thing. So tracking expenses is super important. Again, the way that I recommend, little notebook, just write down, I just wrote literally the date. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually, this is my notebook. It was one of those little spiral-y thingies. A spiral right there. And, at the top of each page, I wrote down the date. Whatever the date was, I wrote down what I spent money on, and I wrote down how much money I spent. And sometimes, some days, that was honestly, it was only I only spent one thing that day. But literally every time, I did it for 2 weeks. The brain can get kind of overwhelmed if you aim for too much time at first. So, but you can do anything for 2 weeks. So, or even just aim for 1 week. Make it a chunk of time that feels manageable to you. So, aim for 1 week. And these things cost like local CVS or something like that, less than $1. You should be able to find one of these. I'm talking about a tiny little notebook you can just carry in your pocket or a purse. Tiny little notebook, less than $1. Aim for and also the other thing I did was the first thing I wrote down was the money that I spent on this notebook. So aim for 1 week. Once you hit that 1 week, then bump it up to 2 weeks, then 1 month. And that is going to get you a much clearer picture than of what your actual expenses are than if you were just sitting at home trying to remember. Because again, a lot of those little tiny expenses we don't even really register in our brains because they mean nothing. They're just a purchase of convenience. So what you can end up doing at the end of the month, you look back, you see where you've spent the money, and then what you end up doing is prioritize. This is super important. Whether you have, again, doesn't matter how much income you have, you need to basically prioritize. How much joy are you actually getting from that money? That's the ultimate question. We want to be able to get the maximum amount of happiness per dollar that you get. Max, this is a ratio that is based on this isn't a scientific theory, but max happy per dollar. Max happy per dollar. That's what you're aiming for. And the way you do this is you compare all your expenses, everything in here, compare it to your goal. How much do you want your goal? Find out, and if your goal isn't a 10, find a goal that is a 10. Make it a 10. Make it a 10. Find a goal that is a 10. compare the money that you're spending to the goal. If the money you're spending is not making you as happy as the goal is going to make you, then that money should be spent on the goal, on saving up for the goal, whatever that goal is. For some people, the goal might be like a honeymoon. For some people, the goal might be a new car, something like that. Do you see how that ends up working out? These things, these daily expenses that we don't even think about, all we're doing is putting some thought into it. And this is definitely something that a financial advisor can help with, because there can be a lot of emotions tied up in it. Because you might end up going, yeah, I don't, Starbucks doesn't make me, and Starbucks is such an easy thing. It's not it's not actually the end of the world to go to Starbucks. But what ends up happening to people, it's an easy target. So I'm gonna use a different target. Fast food. What ends up happening to people is that they go, I'm spending these dollars at buying fast food. Ooh, this is actually something I did. You spend these dollars at buying fast food, and it's cheap, but ultimately I know it's not good for me. It lasts such a short amount of time because I scarf it down. The amount of happiness I was getting from fast food was probably like a 5, but at most a 7 if it was a bacon chicken McDouble. So 7 compared to goals of, like, at one point, one of my goals was wanting to be healthy. That was super important to me. So are those dollars actually helping me with that goal? Not at all. So then we could put that money towards that goal. And Molly and I, we eat pretty healthy now. We make sure we buy quality food. We put value into the food we buy, and that is what's important to us. And we get a lot of joy out of that. So again, comparing your expenses from when you're tracking, comparing them to your goals. And again, if you're not getting as much joy out of those expenses as your goals, then your money isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing, which is making you happy. And that might be one of the reasons why you feel so disempowered, because you're spending money, but it's not bringing any happiness. So if you can put your money towards the goals, that might end up helping a little bit. And there's a lot of nuance in this. There absolutely is. Everybody's situation is different. And that's why a financial advisor might be able to actually help out with this. This is a pretty heavy topic to be tackling in 15 minutes, but I do think that these 3 steps, anybody can do this, no matter where you are. These 3 things, if you just do these 3 things, you're going to end up feeling much more empowered with what your money is doing, and finances are not going to feel as scary by the end of it. You're gonna know that every dollar you're spending is going towards something that is making you really happy. And ultimately, that's what we want. The money actually doesn't matter. It's just a number. But what we do with it matters. Is it actually making you happy? That's what's important. And that's what these things will do. Also, by the end of this, you're going to have a little notebook. You're going to have goals written down, and you're going to be able to actually look at these 2 and compare them. And those are tangible things you're going to be able to have. And one of the problems with money and money planning is that it's abstract, so it's hard for people to figure out. But with those tangible things, that's going to be something that's actually going to help you feel good about it, just because you have something tangible that you can hold in your hands. Highly recommend it. Again, write down your goals. Make sure that their importance is a 10. Find out why it's important. Track your expenses. Find out where your money is coming in. Find out where your money is going out. Once you know that, prioritize. Look at all those expenses. Are each of those expenses making you as happy as possible? Super simple. No matter where you are in your financial journey, you can do these things, whether you, again, have no money or whether you suddenly have a whole lot of money coming your way and you're feeling really overwhelmed. These 3 things are going to end up helping you gain a sense of clarity about what to do next. And again, if even these 3 things feel a little bit daunting, that's something that a financial advisor can definitely help out with, because we've seen it. We've been there, we've experienced it, we've helped other people through it, we've coached this exact situation before, and we can even tailor these things towards your own specific learning process. that's about it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me for Money Monday. Again, don't forget to sign up for our free webinar on marriage and money on May 27th at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Sign up for our newsletter. You're going to get up-to-date updates on our helpful articles, on our free webinars, on other things that we have coming out. I'm not going to be doing a Money Monday next week because we have our clients monthly mastermind next week. I'm so excited for that. This is again where we can come together and support each other and help each other overcome different challenges that we face. If you're thinking about becoming a client, do so before next week because I don't want you to miss out on it. It's always so great. I say always, we've had one and it was amazing. Finally, for clients, if you're seeing this, we're going to have a book club that's going to be starting up in June. We're going to be reading a book together and that on finance, and that way, again, helping give that sense of clarity so you can feel really empowered with your finances. Thank you all so much for joining me. My name is Henry. I'm your friend in finance. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. Take care. Be well.